Well, for so many of us, social media is an outlet to blow off steam about our daily stresses. But what would you do if you came across a post with a much more serious message? 13 ABC's Sashem Brey joins us with this cautionary tale.
For young adults, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook are virtual diaries where teens have no qualms posting things others may find far too personal for strangers. But when teens reveal their darkest struggles and mention suicide, the game changes. Do you scroll by the boy or girl who could be crying wolf, or do you stop and do something? It's an 8-minute YouTube video.
I can't believe people would do that to someone.
Featuring one young woman.
I've seen a few of these videos before.
No spoken words.
One little mistake can really mess up the rest of your life.
Just fragmented thoughts on paper.
It's virtually impossible to stop.
Raw, private emotions.
It's just not right.
That speak volumes.
She made a mistake, but that shouldn't have to haunt her for the rest of her life.
On a cold Saturday morning in this church downtown, members of Youth Leadership Toledo gather for a monthly meeting. These are some of the best and brightest, kids who have their whole lives ahead of them. But today we introduce them to a Canadian teenager whose life took a very different turn.
It was surprising because no one knew, and no one knew that she was going through this.
In September 2012, 15-year-old Amanda Todd decided to tell the world how one lapse in judgment changed her life.
It's just natural for humans to want attention and to want to be heard, and some people do that in a healthy way and some people can't.
An older man convinced her to flash the camera. He screen grabbed the image and it went viral. Relentless bullying pushed Todd to switch schools, then turned to drugs, alcohol, cutting, and even a suicide attempt.
I just found it amazing how much time and effort these students put into torturing this girl.
Weeks after she posted the video, Amanda was found dead. Countless people watched, shared, and commented on this clip, but no one helped.
And it was sad to see, as on my own Facebook, of people sharing the video and people saying, just stop with it, don't share this, we don't care to hear about it anymore. That sickened me that people were trying to avoid it.
In a time when social media is an extension of our personas, Todd's tragedy is one small piece of a much larger puzzle.
This is a new frontier, and it needs to be dealt with.
Specifically, the fact that your child may be more comfortable sharing private thoughts with strangers than you.
It's like getting on a plane or a bus or something. We'll tell our life story to a complete stranger. It's almost like going to a confessional.
I watched the same clip through the eyes of Dr. Ken Miller, the clinical director of youth and family at Harbor.
I was shocked when I saw this, and I'm in the business.
Dr. Miller spends hours counseling teens and says while plastering their pain online creates some desensitization, it also creates an opportunity.
The good news out of this bad news is that there's 4.5 million or 4.6 million hits on this, so people are very interested. And if they can learn from this, then it wouldn't necessarily have to get worse because we're humans, we can learn.
That means getting parents involved and educated.
We monitor Facebook, we get out and we check on stuff, but it is frightening how much is out there, and it would be a full-time job.
That's why some mental health experts think it's time for schools to get proactive.
A great teacher teaches math, teaches everything they need to teach, but they have their antenna up for all the other issues. And they can't have their antenna up all naturally. Some of it has to be through training. We have to provide that training so that they know when something doesn't smell right.
The youth leadership teens also say this means their generation needs to step up and stop bullying.
People want to think, well, I have the right to say anything I want, but that can't be the case when this happens.
And speak out, even if it means taking some heat.
I think a lot of teenagers are dismissive because they're guilty themselves. I'm guilty on both ends, and I think most teens truly are, and that's why they're trying to avoid it.
And report every threat, every time.
It's really hard to tell if someone's being serious or not, just because in our daily conversation we say that, oh, I hate my life, I want to kill myself, this is terrible, but sometimes you might be joking, but you don't know how much truth they have behind that.
In these cases, it's better to be safe than sorry. Sashem Brey, 13 ABC Action News.